Welcome to Simply Robotics, the podcast exploring the animation industry one episode at a time. I'm your host, Monique. You can find me on all social media platforms at Simply Robotics, SIMPLYROBOTIX. When listening to the show, use the hashtag Simply Robotics Pod to join in on the conversation. Now, in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, and because I too am Hispanic, I am an Afro-Latina. This is not an identity I lead with. And I will just say, long story short, it's because obviously it's not a perceived identity because of the color of my skin. And then also because I'm not fluent in Spanish, I haven't always felt as confident identifying as an Afro-Latina, identifying as a Hispanic person. It's always just been much easier to identify as a Black American. A significant part of my family is African American, Black American. A significant part of my family is West Indian. And then the third significant part of my family is Hispanic. So it's just easier just to have identified as Black and a Black American and West Indian. But definitely in my later adult years, I've been finding more comfort identifying as an Afro-Latina. I also, it's worth mentioning that I'm going to be a part of a conversation on October 15th with Rise Up Animation. So you have to go to their Instagram. Eventually, they're going to have some promotional materials about it. But on October 15th, I was invited by Latinx in Animation to have that conversation about being of Hispanic and Latin identity and in the animation industry. So I'll be probably talking way more about all that sort of stuff. But Hispanic Heritage Month always gets me not talking, but necessarily like thinking and reflecting about my identity and my connection to this culture, like my culture. And so it only felt right to talk about this film, which is Chico and Rita, because I love it. And you're going to hear why. So IMDb quickly summarizes this film as Chico is a young piano player with big dreams. Rita is a beautiful singer with an extraordinary voice. Music and romantic desires unite them, but their journey in a tradition of the Latin ballad, the bolero, brings heartache and torment. Dun, dun, dun. So what's important to note is that this film is about Afro-Cubans. Yeah, so they're like in jazz, jazz musician, jazz singer, and they're Afro-Cuban. So this, which I'm going to get into later, let's just keep moving. Chico and Rita first premiered or debuted or was released in the United Kingdom November 9th, 2010. Then it was released in Spain February 25th, 2011. And then finally it was released in America November 11th, 2011. It's important noting that I believe Walt Disney Pictures had distribution rights to it over in the UK and in Spain. And then G-Kids, which is a huge deal, you know, a lot of Miyazaki films and a lot of like anime and international feature films we're able to see in North America, meaning Canada, America, I want to say Mexico, but I'm not too sure about Mexico. We're able to see a lot of international animated films because of G-Kids getting the distribution rights for it. On the internet, I was seeing like, not a lot, but sometimes I would see 3 directors, sometimes I'll see 2 directors, so I can't completely be sure. But I definitely saw these 2 men consistently, even in the interviews that I watched, and that's Tono Errando and Javier Mariscal. Production companies are Fernando. I don't know if this is English or Spanish, but it says Fernando. So Fernando, Trueba, PC, Estudio Mariscal, and Magic Light Pictures. So it's also important to note that Chico and Rita won the Goya Award for Best Animated Film at the 25th Goya Awards. Now, I didn't even know Goya had an award show. I don't know where you can watch it, when it comes on. I don't know anything about it, but I shall find out. Chico and Rita was also nominated for an Oscar for the Best Animated Feature Film at the 84th Academy Awards. I don't know what year that is, but I'm thinking it was 2012. And this was the first nomination for a Spanish full-length animated film. Okay, big deal. So now I'm getting most of this information from Wiki. We're just going to talk about the plot a little bit. The movie starts off in present-day Havana, and I believe that at this time, this is like the late 80s, early 90s, present-day Havana. Chico is a shoe shiner, right? He tunes his radio to this radio station, which starts playing some old Cuban hits, and he hears this song called A Taste of Me, also known as Sabor a Mi, and it causes him to start reflecting back on his life in Cuba during the 1940s.